Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. The modern release I want to look at today is Disney's Illusion Island, which is a Mickey Mouse themed game, and it's very, very fun, especially if you're playing in co-op here. Now before I get started on the actual review, I want to say I probably won't be doing a lot of editing on this one, recording it kind of late, so I just want to get it out there. So there's not going to be a whole lot here, probably just a graphic here or there. This game is very fun for co-op. I played this with my daughter because it has so many fantastic accessibility options. You have the choice to play with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy, and you have the choice to choose how much HP you start off with. You start off with 1, 2, or 3 hearts, or you can go with a really super easy experience where you have infinite HP, you still take damage, you still have the animations, but you never die, which is fantastic. My daughter's not super experienced in platformers. She helped me with Sackboy: A Big Adventure, playing all the co-op levels. She's very good, but had never really experienced the 2D platformers, had to get used to a lot of new mechanics and everything, all the evolving mechanics of the game, and it was really nice to have those accessibility features. Also, if someone gets left behind, they wrap up into a little envelope and they fly toward you, and then if you're standing on ground, it'll open back up and then they can catch up. It was really nice if you ever got to a point where she couldn't do some of the platforming, she just came right over to me, which is really fantastic. If you ever die, you go back to a checkpoint system. They have little mailboxes and you go into your envelopes and it shuffles you back. It's very nice. I think the design of the game is fantastic. So the premise of the game has these 4 characters here coming together to go to some supposed picnic. They're actually summoned by these cute little creatures that tell them, hey, we need your help. We need some heroes to help us with this problem that's going on. We need you to retrieve these 3 books, these tomes, to restore balance to this planet here, this world, excuse me. And so they're okay, cool, let's do it. And you start to go after. You have 3 major bosses to go after, 3 major biomes to explore, and you have lots to do along the way. You have collectibles to collect. You have memorabilia, which gives you little images and graphics from classic Disney stuff. It's very much like a Disney person's paradise here. You get so much content in terms of little bonuses and features here and there. You also have little cards that do the same kind of thing. You have orbs you can collect, and if you cash them in, you can get more heart containers for your character, which I actually didn't know about until quite close to the end of the game. I was always running on 2 HP, maybe 1 if I was really feeling like it. But yeah, you can get several new heart containers, and I had no idea about that. Should have read the instructions a little more clearly or followed the tutorials a little bit better. But you can expect some basic platforming here, a Metroidvania style thing. You can see definite paths have little currents of air. They're oh, I can't do anything with that now, but I'm guessing I'm going to be able to glide on that later on. You have a wall jump that you can jump off of, obviously jump off of walls to get to places that you couldn't get before. You'll unlock a swimming ability where you can dive under the water. You'll get for the air currents, you'll get a little helicopter thing for Mickey. What's really nice about this game is each character gets their own individual kind of item for each upgrade that you get. So for Mickey, he gets a little propeller that he pedals on a bicycle to glide up the wind drafts. Minnie gets an umbrella, and then I can't remember what Goofy gets, but all of his things are food themed. And then Donald usually gets the burnt toast, which is always hilarious. He just has to flap his wings, which it's just hilarious how they do the dialogue here. I think the dialogue is very well done. For the most part, it's just text, but they do have animated cutscenes with full voice acting. I'm pretty sure it's the original cast from the 2010 shorts and the new 2020 shorts, like the Mickey Mouse and the Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. Mickey, I'm not so sure about. All the other 3, 100% definitely are the same voice actors. Mickey seems a little bit different, so if it is the same, he just sounds a little bit different. They all do a fantastic job. So when there is fully animated cutscenes, fully voiced cutscenes, the voice acting is fantastic. So as you go about the worlds, you'll be upgrading new things. Very Metroidvania. You'll be oh, I can't get across this gap. I'm gonna need to go do a thing. Oh, I get a little double jump mid-air. Now I can cross the gap. Oh, I can't get up these currents. Now I can glide. Now I can do all of these things. It's really basic structure. And it does a very good job of being a nice introduction to platformers in a lot of ways. It's fairly basic in the beginning, but it does ramp up in its difficulty as the game progresses, as you would expect from Metroidvania or a platformer in general. You don't have really attack options in this game. You are jumping over things. You are avoiding enemies. The enemies will evolve with the difficulty as well. You'll have basic enemies that you jump over, little cactuses that move, but then they evolve into things that have a bigger hitbox or move around and shoot projectiles, and you have to evolve with the game as you go on, which is really, really nice. The boss fights are really fantastic as well. Since there are only, I think, 4 major boss fights, you get one at the very end. it's not the typical structure that you would expect where you hit them 3 times and the boss fight's over. You have multi-phase boss fights. It has platforming sections. You have to like hit switches, the right timing. It's very well done. I really like the design of the boss fights themselves, and getting to them is a lot of fun as well. You have other collectibles that you'll get along the way. You'll get introduced to like taking pictures. You'll find mouse ears in different areas, and you can like, if you jump in front of them, you snap a picture and you get another thing there. It's really very charming, and you have like areas on the map that show you how much of each thing that you still need to collect, which is very good for going back. You have a fast travel system at the very beginning. It's very rudimentary. It's just like you unlock it at one point, but it's very limited. And then toward the end of the game, you get fast travel between checkpoints, which is so good for when you're trying to do 100% for this game, which I was trying to do as well. It's very, very nice that they implemented that, because for a long time, it just felt like I wish there was a fast travel system, and there is. That's a big criticism for me, is they should have introduced it earlier. It does not feel like it should be one of those things you unlock way later on. There is a lot of backtracking, and it doesn't feel particularly fast in this game. Movement in this game doesn't feel super clean all the time. It's fairly basic. You don't have a lot of mix ability. Like, you don't have a lot to do here in terms of getting from place to place fast, unless you have these little teleporting machines or once you unlock fast traveling later on. So that is a criticism for me. It does feel slow at times, and getting from top left of the map to the bottom right can be really frustrating until you get that feature unlocked. But it is a joy to complete each biome. Now, one of the biggest things that I have a problem with in this game is the sound design. I think the sound design ranges from good to absolutely abysmal. There is like a sound effect that happens every now and again that sounds like an old disc on like a Dreamcast or a PlayStation 1, making like a little rotation, like making a weird sound in your console. I was playing on the Switch version, so I knew that that could not be it, but that's what it sounds like. And it's part of like the background music, and it's so distracting. It like triggers this memory in my brain of like, oh no, I hope my console's okay. And it just does not sound good or congruent with the rest of the music. And there are other things that it does as well that just sounds bad. I don't know what they were doing. Like when it hits, it's fine. It does exactly what it should do. It sounds like a Disney game. It sounds very nice. But there are other times where it just sounds like weird console malfunctioning. I don't really know how to explain it more than that. I just don't think the sound design is very good sometimes, and it's really, really distracting, especially when it's repetitive. And so I could not stand the sound. I don't know if that's like a major criticism for other people, but I did not like it at all. Otherwise, this is a very competent platformer. It has some good challenge, especially toward the end. So if you are a seasoned vet, this will give you a good challenge. This will give you some fun. There's no combat or anything, so if you just like the platforming element of things, then you'll probably enjoy this one. I think it is worth your time, especially if you get it on sale. This is like a $40 game at launch. I got it from my library, so I just got to play it for free, which is really nice. But if you can get it for around 20 to 30 bucks, I think it's worth your time. I think it's very competent. If you like the Mickey Mouse cartoons, this is definitely for you. It's very, very fun. Has lots of callbacks to Disney memorabilia and all these things. I do enjoy what it is. I do like Disney stuff, especially since I have kids. We've watched all the Mickey Mouse cartoons, so I had a very fun time, especially experiencing it with them. But this won't give you like a crazy challenge. This isn't like... We're not looking at Ukulele Impossible Layer type of challenge here, Donkey Kong Country. We're not looking at that kind of thing. This definitely feels like intermediate platforming. At the beginning, very basic, and then it evolves into something like an intermediate, and some of the boss fights can be quite challenging. So I think there is a lot of fun to be had here, especially if you're a platformer here. I'm going to give this one a white gold rank, which is in between silver and gold. I think there's a lot of good, and I think there's a lot of great things. Stuff like the sound design and some of the pacing really hold it back from being a true gold ranking or even ascending up to the platinum rank. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.